Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and to another video. So today we are going to have a look at the two toolkits available on Linux, which are also used for theming your system. Those toolkits are GTK and the Qt toolkits. So in this video we are going to explore them both, and I'm going to show you what you need to take care of when you are also theming your Linux desktop. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. You might have heard several times in the Linux world the word GTK or Qt or Qt, and you might wonder what it is and what it actually does. So I will leave a link to every resource I'm using in this video in the video description below, and I would start here with GTK. So these articles are taken from Wikipedia, and as you can see here on the top it's saying GTK, formerly GTK Plus. The name was actually changed in 2019. Originally was called the GIMP Toolkit, is a free and open source cross-platform widget toolkit for creating graphical user interfaces or GUIs. It is licensed under the terms of the GNU Lesser General Public License, allowing both free and proprietary software to use it. It is one of the most popular toolkits for the Wayland and X11 windowing systems. So it is basically a toolkit which is used to build the graphical interface for the Linux desktop in this case. So if you need more in-depth technical information about GTK, I definitely encourage you to read this article because it goes really in-depth also about the technical aspects, which if I do in the video here, it's going to be way too long. But I just want to give you here a small overview of the GTK toolkit for creating GUIs and where it is actually used in Linux. So for example, if we switch down here to the use, you can see here, for example, the applications which are using GTK. So GTK applications, of course, are the GNOME core applications because they are part of the GNOME desktop environment. We have also word processor here. We have Chromium, the web browser. We have also Emacs is using also GTK. We have also Evolution, the personal information manager, which includes email, calendar, and contacts. Is also based on GTK. We have jconfig, we have Genie, the cross-platform IDE and GTK text editor. We have, of course, also GIMP, which actually was the originator of the GTK toolkit, and we have some other programs as well. Now, desktop environments which are using GTK are the GNOME desktop environment. We have Budgie, Cinnamon, Mate, XFCE, Pantheon, which is the desktop environment for elementary OS. We have the Sugar desktop environment. We have actually here KDE. So KDE is actually based on the Qt toolkit, but it has some integration with GTK. I'm going to show you this afterwards in the demo. And then we have also Phosh, which is the mobile UI designed for pure OS. So we have also some inactive desktop environments, like for example, you can see here Unity, LXDE. We have also the Access Linux platform. We have Consort, which is the GNOME 3.4 fallback mode. It's a fork from Solus OS. We have GP and the ROX desktop. Now you can see also here we have some window managers who are actually based on GTK or using GTK. So we have, for example, here the most popular ones, ISVM. We have Marco, which is the window manager for Mate, if I'm not mistaken. We have MetaCity, we have Muffin, we have Mutter, which is the window manager for GNOME. We have Sawfish, WMG, and XFWM. Now, this is actually for the GTK toolkit. Now, let's have a look at the Qt toolkit. So let's switch over to the tab here. And as you can see here, Qt, or pronounced Qt, is a widget toolkit for creating graphical user interface, exactly the same way as GTK, as well as cross-platform applications that run on various software and hardware platforms such as Linux, Windows, macOS, Android, or embedded systems, with little or no change in the underlying code base while still being a native application with native capabilities and speed. Now, Qt is currently being developed by the Qt Company, a public listed company, and the Qt project under the open source governance, involving individual developers and organizations working to advance Qt. Qt is available under both commercial licenses and open source GPL2, 3 and the LGPL3 licenses. So again, Qt is a toolkit for creating GUIs exactly like GTK. So let's have a look here at the Qt in use. So you can see, for example, here desktop UIs using Qt. Of course, we have KDE Plasma. This is probably the most popular desktop environment on Linux using the Qt toolkit. We have DDE, which is the Deepin desktop environment. We have Ukui, which is the Ubuntu killing user interface. We have, of course, LXQT, which is the Qt counterpart for the LXDE desktop environment. We have Lumina, we have Lomiri, Unity 2D, Trinity, and so on. We have also here STDM. STDM is actually a display manager. It's not a desktop environment, but it is actually based on the Qt toolkit. And that is actually why it is recommended as a display manager for the KDE desktop environment. Now, interesting here, we have also embedded and mobile UIs using the Qt toolkit. We have, for example, Asteroid OS, we have BlackBerry 10, we have Sailfish OS, we have Plasma Mobile, which is the mobile version of KDE. We have Loon OS, we have Nemo Mobile, Lomiri, Tesla Model S in Car UI is also using the Qt toolkit. We have WebOS and SkyQ. We have also some available but inactive embedded and mobile UIs like Migo. We have also OPA, Qtopia, and Ultra Aptex. Now we have also here a list of applications using Qt. You can see, for example, we have Adobe Photoshop Album, Adobe Photoshop Elements, the AMD Radeon Software Crimson driver tool application. We have also Autodesk Maya. We have here, for example, you can see also DaVinci Resolve. We have also all KDE applications using the Qt toolkit, like for example, Kdenlive. You can see we have here Google Earth. We have also here OBS, which I'm using to record this video. It's also using the Qt toolkit. And you can see on this side, we have also Sibelius, which is a professional music composition and notation software. We have Stellarium. We have also TeamViewer. We have also Telegram, VirtualBox, VLC, and some others as well. So as you can see, Qt is not only used in several desktop environments, but in many applications as well. Now let's have a look here also at the organizations using Qt. So we have AMD here, we have BMW, we have Electronic Arts, we have Daimler, we have DreamWorks, we have Huawei, we have Lucasfilms, Microsoft, Panasonic, we have Philips, Samsung, Tesla, and many others as well. So you can see here actually the Qt toolkit, it's used also by a lot of companies. So in terms of browsers here, we can check also which browsers are using the GTK toolkit. For example, here we have the list. So we have Firefox, we have the GNOME Web, of course, because it's belonging to the GNOME desktop environment. We have Google Chrome, we saw that before already. We have some others here, and the other probably popular one is Vivaldi, which is also using GTK. Now for the Qt toolkit, we have here Conqueror, which is actually the default browser for the KDE desktop environment. We have some others as well here, and we have of course also the Qt browser. Now I want to actually show you something in two virtual machines using two different toolkits. So let me show you actually the first virtual machine here, which is Manjaro on the GNOME desktop environment. So let me switch over to it. And so I need to log in here and enter my password. So this is a fresh installation of Manjaro GNOME. And as we've seen before, the GNOME desktop environment, it's built on the GTK toolkit. So we have, for example, Firefox here, which is also built on GTK. And as you can see here, when I open it up, it opens up just fine. So we have here up the tab bar, we have here our browser up and running, ready to use. Now, the thing here is when we want to install something which is using the Qt toolkit, like for example, Kdenlive. So Kdenlive, as you probably know, is one of the most popular video editors on Linux, but it's based on the Qt toolkit and is actually the default video editor in KDE. So what happens here if we want to install Kdenlive on GNOME? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's pull up the terminal here and let me increase the font size. And let's type in sudo pacman -s, and this is actually going to be the same whether you're installing Kdenlive on GNOME on any distribution, not only here on Manjaro. And so the package is Kdenlive, and then we can hit enter. So we need to authenticate here, and you can see here it's installing a lot of packages. So it's installing, of course, the Kdenlive package, but it's installing also all the needed libraries for Kdenlive to work. So let's go ahead and install it. And it's going to take a moment here, but these are not big packages. These are actually mostly the libraries needed for Kdenlive to work. And you can see we have 65 packages and it's already installing. So this is not going to take too long here. And now it's done. So you would think now we would open up Kdenlive and it would look exactly the same like it would on KDE, right? So well, let's try this out. So let's open up here Kdenlive, and it's open up here. And as you can see here, something looks odd. We can see here, we can actually go full screen, you can see here some things are actually displaying correctly, but the interface here looks odd and it doesn't look actually like it would look on Kdenlive. So if you would start to edit your video, it will work because we have all the libraries there, but for the interface something is actually missing. And that is because actually we installed the libraries, but we don't have the full Qt toolkit available here in GNOME. So how can we solve this problem? Well, we could go ahead and install more Qt packages, but another solution, which is probably easier, is actually to install the Flatpak version. Now let me show you what I mean. First of all, let me actually remove Kdenlive by typing in sudo pacman-r Kdenlive and enter my password here. It's gonna remove just the Kdenlive package here and not the libraries, but that's fine. And we're gonna install now Kdenlive with Flatpak. So we can type in Flatpak, install, and then Kdenlive and hit enter. And it's found in the repository a package called Kdenlive. So I'm gonna hit Y here and also accept the reference. And you can see here it says required runtime for the Kdenlive stable. So I'm going to say yes. And what happens here, let me go full screen so you can see better. What happened here is that it's installing the plugins, it's installing everything actually for Kdenlive to work. But this is including also the toolkit, which is embedded in the Flatpak. So when I hit enter here, you can see it's going to install everything needed to run Kdenlive as a Flatpak here, so as a box. So as a Flatpak here, we have everything in one box. And as you can see there, we have also the KDE Wayland decoration on the GNOME platform decoration. So that's going to take care actually of the UI because we are running a Qt application toolkit here in the GNOME, which is supporting GTK. So now it's almost finished installing, and then we are going to open up Kdenlive and see the difference on how it looks like. And there you go, it's now finished. So let me close the terminal here. And now if I search for Kdenlive and I open it up, you will see that it looks like it looks on KDE. And there you go, this is exactly how it would look on KDE. So if I go full screen here, you can see here the interface appears properly with the proper colors, the proper fonts. And the advantage here is that when you want to remove Kdenlive as a Flatpak, it's going to remove actually also the dependencies. So you're going to remove everything needed for Kdenlive to work. What else if I install the binary? I'm going to have to go into the terminal again. I would have to remove all dependencies as well, which is an extra step. So this is something actually that would work also on other desktop environments using the GTK toolkit. Now, how is it actually on desktop environments using the Qt toolkit? Well, let's have a look at this. So let me close here Kdenlive and let me switch over to the other virtual machine, which is running Manjaro on KDE. So here we are on Manjaro KDE, so I can enter my password here as well. And there you go. So this is again a fresh installation of Manjaro KDE. So for example, we saw before one of the browsers built on GTK is Firefox, and Firefox comes here pre-installed by default on Manjaro, like in many other distributions as well. So what happens here when we open this up? Well, we have Firefox here with our interface, but you see, first of all, we have a title bar here on the top, and that's actually because it's basically wrapped into the window decoration in KDE. So if you don't like this, we need to go here into the menu and go to More Tools, and then click Customize Toolbar. And as you can see, we have this checkbox here saying title bar. So if I remove this, you will see the title bar is gone. And now we are using the standard Firefox interface. If we go full screen here, you will see we are using the tabbed interface new with Firefox 89. Now, the interesting thing with KDE, and this is actually the only desktop environment which offers this solution, is let's open up the settings here and let's go to Appearance. And you can see we have here our global theme that we can change, and we go to application style. We have here also the same for the application style. Right now we are using Breeze, but we can change to Fusion or Oxygen. This is actually concerning the Qt or application using the Qt toolkit. But you can see here on the bottom, we have also configure GNOME GTK application style. So when we click here, that means that we are basically going to tell KDE to use a specific theme for application using GTK, for example, like Firefox. Now, right now, it's using the breadth theme here because it's selected by default, but I can change this. For example, I can change this. Let's go to dark. And when I click apply here and I go to Firefox, You can see it's using now the Breath Dark theme here because we specified this in the application style in the settings. So let me close Firefox here. Let's change this again. Let's go to, for example, to Advaita, which is the standard theme for GTK applications in GNOME. And when we click apply and we open up again Firefox, you will see it's using the Advaita theme here with a slightly more gray background. And so it is for other applications using GTK. So we have another application actually that we can install, which is called Quantum. This is giving you more granular control over theming both in KDE and GNOME. And I'm going to explore actually the Quantum utility a little bit more in depth in another video because it's a separate video for that. But this should give you enough information about how and why actually certain applications behave in a certain way under a desktop environment and they behave differently in another desktop environment. Because of the toolkit they are built on, it depends really on the desktop environment that they are running on. So KDE is actually giving you more control on this because it gives you also the control of the GTK theming of GTK applications. Whereas on the GNOME desktop environment or other desktop environments like XFC, for example, you can install, of course, applications like Kdenlive using the Qt toolkit, but you will have probably some issues with the UI. In that case, you can use the Flatpak, which is going to actually provide you with the full experience of the application, also with the correct UI. So I hope this was enough information for you guys to understand actually what's behind GTK and the Qt toolkits. And if you have any question about the video, let me know in the comments below. I will try to answer you as soon as I can. I hope also that you liked the video, guys. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That always helps me out. And if you want to support my work, you can do so by becoming a Patreon, or if you want, you can also donate via PayPal through my website as well. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I'll see you very soon in the next one.